Welcome back, guys, to another Friday Gamer Log. As usual, I'll be talking about the games that I've been playing, games that will be coming up here in the direct future for YouTube, and any games I would like to buy or have bought. So, without further ado, let's get this thing started. Alright, as far as command mission is concerned, I am continuing to return to all the areas that I've been to make sure that I have all the items and whatnot. I've been back to every single area now. There are a couple places where I see a few areas that I can't access, like they'll be blocked by junk, but I can't get to them. I don't know what I gotta do, but I'll figure it out. I bought some more figurines and whatnot using some figure tokens that I found. I've been deploying units still as soon as I can, trying to get whatever items I can from each area, using the deployments and whatnot. Still waiting to get back a couple items, but we'll get some stuff eventually. As far as Mother 3/Earthbound 2 is concerned, I left the old folks home and met up with a Magypsy, who said that we needed to go down the river. The Magypsy couldn't fly us there because it didn't have on its makeup, so we had to get a ride on the boat, or the canoe. That's whenever we met up with another Magypsy right here. Aeolia, I believe, is what the Magypsy with the fro is named. Then Frygria, I believe, is the one that's to the right of Lucas right here. Once we got to Aeolia's house, a whole bunch of shaking and stuff occurred, and she started flashing and started to fade away. She opened up a secret path for us to take after all that started to happen. Then she faded away and left a memento. No, the one that's with us now is Lonia. I get all the Magypsies' names mixed up every now and then. They're pretty weird characters. They're pretty weird characters in my opinion. They all look manly, but they wear makeup and act and dress like girls. They're weird, but they're supposedly genderless. Who knows? I've made my way through the secret passage that Aeolia opened up for us, and we wound back up at the castle where we found out that a needle had been pulled, but not by Lucas. I eventually made my way to a Chimeria lab. One of the pig masks left a phone laying around, so we went there, and that's whenever we met back up with Salsa and his girlfriend. As I was trying to get them to notice who I was, I got attacked by the Mecha Lion. An almost Mecha Lion, my bad. As soon as I finished off that almost Mecha Lion, a Clayman totaled it for good. Then we were warned to be careful as we traveled the lab because the Ultimate Chimeria got out. I still continued to track down Salsa and his girlfriend for a little while each time they ran from me, until eventually I did get them cornered, and then I got cornered by the Ultimate Chimeria. Some of you may notice who the Ultimate Chimeria is from Super Smash Bros. Brawl, the big red creature with a bird on the top of his head. I love that they put a bird on the top of his head. It almost gets Lucas here, but he dodges. If you don't know, in this game, if the Ultimate Chimeria hits you once, like if you touch it like if it were a random encounter, you automatically die. It doesn't even enter a battle. Pretty brutal. Dr. Andonut showed up and told us how to turn off the Ultimate Chimeria. With the masks off, Lucas and Bony Salsa remembered who he was. He started to have a flashback of back in the end of Chapter 3 whenever Lucas called forth that giant Drago to take out Fassad. I like that scene. One of the best parts of the game. Fassad really gets what's coming to him. Chapter 3 is just an all-around sad chapter, I thought. The way how Salsa was getting treated. But since Salsa recognized who Lucas was and everything, he ran out to help out Lucas and Boney. The Ultimate Chimeria kind of cornered Lucas, Boney, and Dr. Andonuts. The doctor said to use Boney as bait. I thought that was kind of funny. But before the Ultimate Chimeria could do anything, Salsa turned it off. Go Salsa. He's an awesome monkey. I like Salsa. Not the best fighter, but he is a fun little monkey to have around. After we turned off the Ultimate Chimeria, Salsa rejoined the party for a little while. We We had to wait for Boney to catch back up after chasing the doctor out of the room for telling Lucas to use him as bait. And of course, as soon as they all left the room, the little birdie got up onto the Ultimate Chimera and turned the button right back on. As soon as all that got done, we wound back up outside of the lab, and Salsa's girlfriend signaled us to go over to the area to the right. So of course I headed over there, and that's whenever we wound up at another little wall here where Salsa had to do his dance. I like that dance and the music. And as to be expected, it lowered the wall, and we continued to go north a little more, and we wound back up at another Magypsy's house, where we also met back up with Kumatora. After meeting back up with Kumatora, Doria, I believe is her name, whatever. Doria is the name of the Magypsy, but it told us to go get something to help us transfer water from one pond to another, because that Magypsy's needle is at the bottom of the pond that has water right now. So I went back to the Chimera lab and got this one. I actually kind of like this Chimera. Kind of neat, I guess. Don't know why I like it. But as you can see right here, it drained the water from one pond and put it into the other. Just what we needed. And once that Chimera was done, it walked away thinking, oh yeah, I'm bad. All proud of himself and everything. And that's whenever I got to pull my first needle. And after that, a whole bunch of shaking started happening, like a little fountain occurred from where Lucas pulled the needle out. Once all that was said and done, he learned a new psychic power, PSI or PK Love Beta. I know one of Lucas's victory taunts in Super Smash Bros. Brawl is to pull the needle. After you've won the match, you'll pull it. I never understood that until I played the game, though, of course. And as usual, as soon as I pulled the needle, Doria, the Magypsy, started to fade away and everything, but before she could... whatever. Before the Magypsy could fade away, it gave us its memento, which is a razor and lipstick. Then once Doria faded away, Kumatora officially rejoined the party. And we had to say our goodbyes to Salsa and everything. Which is kind of sad. It would have been kind of nice to have Salsa come in and out more. He just rejoined for just a minute whenever he rejoined us in this chapter. He wasn't the best fighter though, so whatever. Pretty weak stats, but he's still a pretty cool character, I thought. I like him a lot. He seems to have taken a liking to Kumatora. Wonder what it is about Kumatora that makes Salsa like her so much. But Salsa stops her before she can completely go away and gives her a nut. Don't really think that the nut is anything special. It just recovers 5 health and you can turn it into a cookie or bread if you want, but whatever. Kind of a random little item to give us, but sure, thanks Salsa. I love that he has to do a little flip and give us that smile before we head out. Once all of our business was done at the Chimera lab, we met up with the mole cricket that we fought at the very, very beginning of the game. He challenged us to a rematch in his lair on his home turf, as he was saying. So naturally, I went to the mole cricket hole and everything and refought him. He, of course, as to be expected, went out even quicker than he did the first time. He went out with one whole hit. Then after that, they gave up and were all like, I can't believe we're so weak, and we thought we were strong. We learned something today. Then we asked for help, and the mole cricket that we fought had his little brother help us get through the mole cricket hole. Once all that was done, we wound up out here in this snowland type area, and then his brother had to leave us because he hates the sunlight. That's whenever we met up with our next Magypsy, who really likes to take care of snow bunnies, Lydia. Lydia is a really nice Magypsy. She's also taking... well, I don't know what to call the Magypsies, dang it. But anyway, the Magypsy Lydia is taking care of a pig mask in her house as well. You never do fight that pig mask, though. After talking to Lydia for a minute, Lydia opened up the back door for us, unlocked it, and as soon as we got ready to go out the back door, we heard Porky's theme. Then, as to be expected, the moment that we walked out the back door, we met up with another enemy. We came face to face with the other person who's been pulling the needles besides Lucas. The whole story behind the needles is there are 7 of them that put a big dragon to sleep, a dragon that's probably bigger than the island that we're on right now. And whoever pulls all this needle, all 7 needles, that will be reflected in the dragon's heart. Like if you have a good heart, the dragon will be good. If you have an evil heart, the dragon will be evil. Stuff like that. Similar to the Triforce from Zelda, I guess. Evil wish, you get evil. Good wish, you get good. Whatever. Kind of similar to that, but anyway, we came face to face with the other person who's been pulling the needles, who just so happens to be the masked man. As soon as we met up with him, he flew away with his little wing jetpack dealy there. And that's whenever we fought our next boss, poor snowman up there. Got totaled. We fought the Steel Mecharilla, who really wasn't too bad, I didn't think. Having plenty of healing items and strong magic took him out pretty easily. Once we destroyed that Steel Mecharilla, of course Lydia came outside with her fading away and everything. Sorry. I'm just going to call him whatever from here on out. If I say her, I say her. If I say he, I say he. If I say it, I say it. I don't care no more. They're just weird. And of course, as to be expected, Lydia gave us her memento. Lydia told us that a quick way to get off the mountain was to use the white box that was on the top of it. So of course, that's exactly where we headed. At first, whenever Lydia said, use the white box, I'm just sitting here thinking, white box? What? Lucas out in the distance there looks like a Psyduck to me. Kind of funny. Anyway, though, we went up to the other mountain and got the white box, which just so happens to be a refrigerator, apparently. And it was indeed a quick way to get back off the mountain. Took us right to the graveyard just north of Tazmily Village. Like how it has to show the refrigerator flying through the air. Wonder, that's probably got to be a pretty big refrigerator to fit both Lucas, Kumatora, and of course Boney in it, all 3 of them. Once we landed in the graveyard, I seen that bottle with a message in it up there. Of course, I searched it, and I knew exactly where we were going next. According to the text, anyway, there's no doubting it. Saturn Valley. So, of course, I headed through this underground passage. I got to ride on a Saturn tea table. I forgot to record much footage of it. I did get a little bit of footage of the Saturn tea table, and that's it right there. Kind of a fun little table, makes horse noises. But we wound up at Saturn Valley, where apparently all the Mr. Saturns are being tortured by pig masks who are using frightening machines, which don't really do anything. They're pretty worthless machines. As you see right here, we met back up with Duster, who got captured by the pig masks and everything, as well as the rope snake over there to the right. Can't forget him. Of course, I battled these 2 pig mask majors and took out their frightening machine and freed Duster from there. The pig mask majors weren't too bad or anything. They all went out pretty easily with so much magic at our disposal. PK Love Beta and some of Kumatora's magic made quick work of all the enemies. The snake rope felt kinda bad. Rope snake rope, whatever. He felt bad because he wasn't able to hold on to that rope ladder that was coming down from the helicopter in the previous chapter. Poor Snake. I think that he gets to redeem himself later on in the game, though. As you see right here, we freed Duster and he rejoined the team, which was nice to have the full team back again. If you talk to the snake, he's just kind of depressed. He wants to be left alone. He says that he isn't depressed, but you know that he actually is. I mean, just read all that. He just feels bad for everything. I feel kind of bad for the snake because he's kind of cool. Whatever the case, though, we went trying to find our next needle, but the only area that we could find was a place with wall staples, and the ground or the area of the wall where we could put wall staples was too high for us, so the Mr. Saturns had to form a ladder for us. And Duster had to do the rest of the work from there. Once we got up the ladder and got our next needle, the Mr. Saturns built us a ladder themselves. Who knows why they didn't do that before, but whatever. The Mr. Saturns like to build ladders using themselves all the time. They especially like to fall apart. Seems like that kind of hurt, but I guess they're Mr. Saturns. Anyway, though, we met up with another Magypsy who was sleeping whenever we met up with her. Phrygia. Is that how you pronounce that? Phrygia? Something like that? They got some pretty weird names, but whatever. I read the little bulletin board next to her, and I got some encouraging words that I had to give to a rock. So naturally, I headed up north of that Magypsy's house and gave the encouraging words to the boulder, which then the boulder magically came to life and scooted aside. How very thoughtful of it, I guess. Continuing further, I came upon the next needle, which as we got ready to pull it, an old friend showed up. Hello, Fasad. You look like crap, by the way. I love it earlier in the game. Everybody's like, have you seen Fasad? He's grown horns. Kind of makes you think that he looks demonic, but he actually has horns. And he has to have an interpreter. It's kind of funny. But I battled the new Fasad, who wasn't too bad, actually. I didn't have much problems with him. Fasad went out, and I got to pull my next needle and everything. Fasad ran away. We'll get to see more of him later. I like his interpreter for some reason. She's just kind of there strictly to interpret what he says. She means no harm. So as I said, I got to pull my next needle. For every needle that you pull, Lucas is going to learn a new level in his PK Love spell. I don't know what I think about that. That's kind of a neat idea to have him learn a new level for every needle, but at the same time I kind of wish that he would learn the new PK Love levels as he levels up like Ness does with PK Rockin'. But either way is fine, I suppose. I mean, you don't get PK Love until Chapter 4 anyway, so whatever, that's just 3 chapters before this. So that's okay, I guess. As soon as we got the power of PK Love Gamma awaken inside of us, the Phrygia, whatever his name is, showed up, and of course, as to be expected, gave us his memento, and faded away. All the Magypsies have a razor and a lipstick. Kind of a joke on how they're like half male, half female. They're neither one but both. I don't know, however you want to look at it. Like I said, Magypsies are weird. Whatever the case, after Phrygia, whatever her name is, his name. We went back to Mr. Saturn. Oh, we went back to Saturn Valley, dang it. Sorry. And once we got back there, a Pigmask Major bombed the cave and caused a whole bunch of boulders to fall in front of it. So we can't get out or whatever. So we went around and talked to the Mr. Saturns. One of them told us that they could build us a contraption, a flying contraption, but we'd have to catch them a bird. So we went and did that and turned it into the Mr. Saturn so that he could build the contraption. He said for us to go rest in the hot spring while he worked on it, which is whenever we met up with another Mr. Saturn who offered us coffee. I accepted, but man, this was one sick, twisted Mr. Saturn. He drugged the coffee so that we'd see these blue diamonds all over the place. Once the acid trip wore off, another Mr. Saturn showed up and asked Lucas if he could have our courage badge. Said that he would polish it up for us, so of course we gave it to him. The courage badge eventually becomes the Franklin badge once it's been all polished up and everything, which does the same thing that it did in the SNES Earthbound. So that's nice. As soon as we got done at the hot spring and everything, I went back to the Mr. Saturn that made the contraption for us here. As we got ready to fly the contraption, the rope snake came back and he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. What about me? You guys are seriously going to ditch me here? Y'all are going to trade me in for that cheap rope." So pretty much Rope Snake wanted a second chance, which of course I gave him a second chance. This is a neat little flying device, I guess. I highly doubt that this device would ever work carrying Duster, Kumatora, Lucas, and Boney. Poor Lucas, Boney has to hang from his pants so his butt's all hanging out. Kumatora is the lucky one, I guess. Is Kumatora hanging from Duster's bad leg, I wonder? I don't know. But, poor Rope Snake wasn't able to hold on completely to the contraption, and he fell again. Once we landed, he was really upset. He said that he's going to go bury himself like a worm, which is exactly what he did. Like I said, though, I think that the Rope Snake does redeem himself later on in the game. I can't quite remember if he does it or not, but I'm pretty sure that he does redeem himself. Whatever the case, little did the Rope Snake know he actually dropped us off right where we wanted to be dropped off, right nearby another needle. The next needles actually across the ocean. We had to dive down and cross through the ocean floor. There were pig masks down there called Navy Squeals. Kind of a funny pun, I guess. As we went through this area, there are these mermen, robots or statues or whatever, that have to kiss you to give you oxygen back. Kind of weird, but whatever. We made our way through the underwater section and everything, which is whenever we came across Master Eddie. After defeating Master Eddie, he caused a giant whirlpool to happen, which did mortal damage to everybody, as well as washed away everybody's items. So the battle ended after that, and next thing we know, we're waking up at the shore of the island that we were headed to, rescued by a couple of the mermen. As soon as we woke up, Kumatora suggested that we get something to eat ASAP. And I didn't do that yet. I saved and quit right after we woke up, and I'll go back to that later. As far as Final Fantasy I is concerned, I made my way into the Sky Soul of Rebirth dungeon. Fought the Typhoon, fought Ultros as I'd know him, Final Fantasy VI. Made my way to this area where I fought Astos and the Vampire again in a rematch. Both of them went down with one hit. It didn't dawn on me until the last Rebirth dungeon that all these Rebirth dungeons bosses are being themed according to games chronologically. The Earth Rebirth dungeon has Final Fantasy III bosses, the Fire one has Final Fantasy IV, Water one had Final Fantasy V, and now the Air one has Final Fantasy VI enemies. I actually didn't catch on to that, but I've only been through Final Fantasy III, the actual Final Fantasy III, one time. I liked it, though. I made my way through this little town of sorts where everybody's dead, and this little zombie guy begged for help. So I went through. I knew exactly who I'd be fighting after I seen all these zombies and everything. There's no doubt in my mind that I'd be fighting the Phantom Train. I remembered Ultros and the Phantom Train, but I didn't remember the other two, but it's been forever since I went through Final Fantasy VI. I didn't remember Death Gaze or the Typhoon boss. But, whatever. As soon as I defeated Death Gaze, I got the ultimate weapon, which is just awesome. I had it equipped on my Red Mage for a long time, but I eventually put it on my Warrior, or my Knight. I came across a neat little town that I really liked during the Air Rebirth dungeon. It's a town filled with nothing but mages. I liked how they actually acknowledged blue mages and blue magic in this town. I also like this guy's quote, "To fight, to support, and to protect." That's my motto. It's a pretty good motto for red mages. Kinda saddens me that all the black wizards and white wizards just sell magic. That's true, but red mages don't need no red magic. Good luck with that. I like how all the red mages have cool dialogue. For some reason I like his little statement there. Sometimes we're mistaken as fighters, but we're mages through and through. For some reason I like that statement. But after I got done with the Air Rebirth dungeon, I headed back to the Temple of Fiends and displayed all the crystals in front of the Black Orb, in which opened up the Time Gate. I've always been more of a mage guy in the Final Fantasy games, and pretty much in any RPG, really. All the magic-based classes have always been more interesting to me than the physical-based classes. That's not saying that the physical-based classes are boring or not fun to use or they suck or anything, because I do like using them as well. But mages are just more interesting to me, and I find that there's a lot more strategy involved in using mages. Plus, they get really cool spells, so I've always been more of a mage guy myself. I made my way through the Temple of Fiends Revisited and finally got to make use of the loot that I've had for a while. After playing that tune and opening up the stairway to go deeper into the dungeon where I fought the fiends all again, I eventually made my way to the second to last floor where I got the Masamune, or however you want to pronounce it, kind of a strange name, which I put on my white wizard for a little while. And yep, I met back up with Garland, who transformed into Chaos, and we started the final battle. For the final battle, I had my knight equipped with the Excalibur, my red mage with the ultimate weapon, and the white wizard with Masamune. However you want to pronounce it. The weapon setup is a little bit different now, though. But we took out Chaos. He wasn't too much trouble. The battle took a little while because he got the Cure 4 spell on him, or whatever, Cure Ja, or whatever. Cure Ja. And yeah, whatever the case, so the battle just took a little while, but overall, it wasn't too bad, I didn't think. And I'm still not going to call my run of Final Fantasy 1 complete. I would like to take out Omega and Shinryu, which I made my way back to the area that they're at, but I haven't defeated them yet. We'll get to that eventually, though. And whenever we do, I will be quite satisfied. I figured before we try to take out Omega and Shinryu that I'd go get the Masamune sword. Figured that that might help us out quite a bit in the battles against them. Who knows if it will, though, or not. As far as the all-color mage run of Final Fantasy V is concerned, I returned to Ball Castle and met back up with Krill. I almost called her Kara from like the Super Nintendo version. But we met back up with Krill, who told us that Guido was calling for us, who is a sage. So naturally we headed out to find that sage. We had to take the Windrake to find him. But the Windrake was still sick. We had yet to give the Windrake the dragon grass that we got for him. He didn't want to take it at first, but Lena ate a little bit to show that it wouldn't hurt him, which in fact it's actually really poisonous to humans, so she was being risky there, or reckless, however you want to look at it. But after she ate it and got all poisoned, everybody chewed her out and Kara came out and healed her up. Whatever the case, though, the important thing is the Haru dragon got all healed up and everything, or the Windrake, whatever you want to call them. I kind of like the little dragons. They're said to be going extinct here in this game, though. I remember there's a backstory for Lena that says that her mom was going to die and the only thing that could cure her was the tongue of a Haru. But the thing is, there's only one Haru around, so it was either finish off the entire Haru race, the very last one, make them go extinct, or let her mom live. And her mom passed away because they thought that that's what her mom would want the most, is for the Haru to live. After everybody was done yelling at Lena and she got cured and everything, we decided to take flight on the Haru and go to the Sage's area. The Sage lives on an island that's just to the northeast of Ball Castle. So we went there and tried to visit the Sage anyway. We went in and a little cutscene occurred with Exdeath sinking the island. And of course we had to get off the island before anything happened to us. Which we did, of course. After the island got sunk and everything, we headed down towards Exdeath's castle, where we seen a whole bunch of ships outside of it. So we tried to land on the ships, where we met up with an old friend of Galif's from back in Bart's dad's days, whenever they all fought together. Of course, we had to have this scene here with Exdeath. As much as I love Final Fantasy V, I'm not that big a fan of Exdeath. There could have been a cooler villain in my opinion, but whatever. Of course, we barely made it out of the island alive, or whatever, I suppose, flying out of the water. Like I said, though, we headed down towards Exdeth's castle, where we found all those ships and everything. We landed on the ships, and that's whenever we met up with Zazat or something like that. I'm used to calling him Zaza for some reason. But we met up with Gallo's friend, who is a Dawn Warrior from back in Dorgan's days. Dorgan is Bart's dad, who fought alongside Galuf and Zazat, as well as a werewolf guy. But they met up, and Zazat told us to get some rest, which we did. And as soon as we woke up, the ships were under attack, so naturally we headed outside, took out all the minor enemies and everything that appeared. A little bit of dialogue and a little cutscene here happened with everybody. Kind of a fun little cutscene. Would have been kind of cool to take control of a fifth character for a little while. Like maybe Zazat joined your team, but you can't pick any classes for him or anything. That would have been kind of fun, I think. But it's not a big deal. Throughout all these battles and everything, I met back up with Gilgamesh. I really like the music that plays throughout all these battles. Gilgamesh wasn't too hard at all, especially since I can double cast magics now. That was always nice. We took out Gilgamesh and his little partner that he summoned. But, like I said, he wasn't very hard at all. He tried to take us out with him after the battle was over in a little cutscene that you'll get to see here in a second. I like Gilgamesh. He cracks me up. He's a pretty fun little side villain of sorts. But he tries to take you off the ship with him, which he fails to do. So he gets washed away while Galuf is hanging around. Galuf says that his arms are starting to go numb and everything. And Zazat's all like, hey, how about you quit hanging around? And he says, hang in there. Galuf's like, that pun is so bad I'm just going to drop on purpose. Kind of cracks me up. But as soon as all that was said and done, we all went and opened up a secret path in the ship that led to a submarine in the water and everything, down in the ocean. From there we headed straight to the barrier tower to wipe out the barrier that's surrounding Exdeth's castle, of course. Upon getting to the barrier tower, Zazat blew a hole in the wall so that we could get in. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right. He's got a very, very strange name, but that's how I've always pronounced it, and I don't really care if I'm saying it wrong or not. Just a really strange name, I think. Once we got in, Zazat gave us Whisperweed, which pretty much is like Final Fantasy's answer to walkie-talkies, pretty much. Just something that you can talk to each other with from a distance, to keep in contact and whatnot. Zeta went down to the lower part of the tower to turn off the generator that's making the electricity up here. We had to come up here and destroy the antenna and everything. Once we got up there, we told Zazat what was going on, and he turned off the generator and everything. But before we could destroy the antenna, we got attacked by yet another boss, Atomos. Atomos went out pretty easily. He really wasn't that much of a threat, especially if you're mages. I have two strategies for him. One of them is to put him to sleep and then spam rods, or your own attack magic, whatever you want to do, so that he doesn't wake back up. And the other, if you have a blue mage, use Dark Spark, followed up by a level 5 Doom, or level 5 Death. That'll take him out just as easily. Atomos knows how to use Comet, which can be really annoying because it can do quite a bit of damage. But other than that, it ain't too bad if you use one of those two strategies that I just talked about. As you see right here, the antenna got destroyed after I destroyed Atomos and everything. Then after that, everything started going haywire down where Zazat was at. I've been really enjoying this run so far. It's not been too hard or anything, and I really like using the mage classes quite a bit. I'm thinking about doing another twist on this run once I have this one finished. Probably not immediately after I finish this one, but probably sometime in the future. Using all magic classes, but not these same ones. Like, I'll probably have Bards be a Mystic Knight, maybe Ferris be a Time Mage, Lena be a Summoner, and Galuf be a Bard, maybe. Either a Bard or a Geomancer. I'm thinking a bard though because songs are listed under spells and I've never actually given a bard a chance. They always came off as pretty much worthless classes to me. Seems like their songs' effects aren't really worth how weak the bard is. It's not an even trade-off in my opinion. It's like you can pretty much just get by fine with other magics, like black magic and white magic, and be just fine like that. But the bard just doesn't seem like that great of a character, but I'm willing to give it a chance, and that's what I'm going to do whenever I do another magic characters only run in this game. As far as physical classes goes, I always liked archers for some reason. I don't know why, I just always liked archers. I especially like them in this game and how they can summon animals and stuff. That's kind of fun, I suppose. Galuf wanted to go save Zazat, but Bartz had to knock him out. Well, not knock him out, but just kind of knock him onto the ground. Then we all boarded the Windrake because that's what Zazat wanted. Zazat knew that all of this was going to happen whenever we came here, but he did it anyway because he wanted to stop X's death. As soon as everybody boarded the Windrake, we all flew away, and a little cutscene occurred showing one of the barrier towers getting destroyed, then the barrier going away altogether. After all of that happened, Galuf wanted to wait for Zazat to show up. He just really wanted his friend to show up, so we waited for a little while before Galuf finally decided that he wasn't going to come. Poor Galuf, that really sucks. Like I said, I always thought that Zazat was kind of a cool character for how short-lived he is anyway. Yeah, like I said, we waited for a few moments for Zazat to show up, and then whenever he never did, Galuf decided that it was time to go. I wonder what green mages would be like. I've read that there are actually green mages in some of the spin-off games like the Tactics, and they mostly specialize in status spells. Those don't really seem like that would be that worthwhile in a canon Final Fantasy game. I mean, yeah, I get to poison enemies, I get to mute them, yay! I always thought of green mages in the canon Final Fantasy games to be like summoners. But, whatever. As soon as all that stuff happened with Zazat and Galuf, we made a little more progress. We found the Sage's cave under the water, which of course we entered and made our way towards the Sage and everything. Got to talk with him and find out what to do next. Bartz was teasing the turtle here for a few moments. Galuf tried to get him to stop doing it, but Bartz thought that it was too fun. Lucky that ain't a Ninja Turtle there, Bartz. Turns out that the turtle is actually the Sage. Galuf had to apologize for Bartz. The Sage told us that we needed to go to a forest, and he gave us the Guardian branch so that we could get into the forest. And I haven't gone there yet. I saved and quit right after I left the cave here. I got a little bit more blue magic. Our white magic and black magic is the same as last time, I'm pretty sure. But I got a few more blue magic spells. I got Time Slip. I also got Aroga, however you want to pronounce it. And I also got Missile. I can't remember if I showed that one or not, but I finally got that. I missed it earlier in the game on accident. But we're building up our blue magic still yet. As far as progress goes on getting the Mind Flayers summoned here in Final Fantasy IV the After Years, still no luck. I've been trying like crazy, but still no luck. I remember the Cockatrice summon took me forever to get to down in the underground area in the Sylph Cave. I actually level capped all of my characters trying to get that one. It took me a long time. I got both Bomb and Imp without even trying though. But I only have Mind Flayer left to get. As far as coin collecting on Smash Bros. Melee goes, I haven't played it a whole lot. I did a little bit of gaming on it, but not a whole lot. I've only got a few more coins. I got another 5 coins. As you see right here, my new total is 425. I used my Wii Lens cleaning kit whenever I got it this week, and I can play Brawl again. That makes me really happy because that's my favorite Smash Brothers right now. So I've been playing that a little bit. I played a little bit online with a friend of mine, the same one that I went to see get married in Arizona. I only really add like people that I know in real life on it. I don't take online play for Brawl seriously. I mean, it's got so much lag that it's hard to like actually fight each other on it. Whatever the case, so I'm glad that it at least has it. But for Super Smash Bros. 4, they definitely need to improve on the online play. Need to make it a whole lot less lag, and then I'll probably be online all the time with it. Smash Brothers is one of my favorite video game series. I really like the Pokemon trainer in this game. I've been wanting to play as one of the 3 Kanto starters since the 64 Smash Brothers. I remember whenever he was announced on the dojo, I got so happy. I was really excited for him. Like I said, he's one of my favorite characters to use because he's 3 in 1. I didn't think that I'd get all 3 of them at the same time. But that's just awesome. I'm glad that we got all 3 like that. I use him quite a bit. He's probably my most used character just because I think that he's a lot of fun. And he's, like I said, 3 in 1 character. But I use all the characters roughly equally for the most part. Pokemon trainers just use the most because he's 3 in 1. So I get more out of him that way. Even though each of the Pokemon has stamina and whatnot. As far as Game & Watch Gallery 4 is concerned, I made a little more progress in collecting stars to try to unlock the Legend of Zelda Game & Watch game. We now have 134 stars. We need another 26 before Zelda will be unlocked. I did unlock a couple more games here in the museum, though. I unlocked Bomb Sweeper and Climber, which I haven't really played either one that much, but hey, it's cool to have them, I suppose. The last game that I got any stars in was the classic version of Mario Bros, which really didn't do that much in it. I just played it for a little while, only long enough to get 1 star. But I'll go back to it and spend a little bit of time in it and get more stars. As far as video game purchases is concerned, I'd like to get the Super Nintendo version of The Lost Vikings 2. I really like The Lost Vikings 1, I especially like The Lost Vikings 2. I own the PlayStation 1 version of Lost Vikings 2, which is called Norse by Northwest, but that's just not the same to me. Not the same graphics, and it just feels different to me. I'd like to have the Super Nintendo Lost Vikings 2 at some point or another, but it's a pretty rare game, but I'll get it eventually. And well, that is it for today's Friday Gamer Log, and I'll see you guys next Friday. Thank you for watching.